What's up, guys? This is Brian Smart. I want to talk to you a little bit about um, achieving your goals in life. I'm a success coach. Essentially, what that means is that um, anything you want to have success in, I can definitely help you get there and coach you how to get there. There's different things that I've learned in my studies and my experience in life, different techniques and different ways of using the mind. Everything is in your head. Obviously, we all know that. Everything starts with the mind. And the mind, your thoughts, control your feelings, your emotions. Your emotions is what drives your behavior. So that's why you're always going to say, I feel like doing something, or I don't feel like doing something. When you feel like doing something, you're going to do it. Most of the time, you're going to do it because you have that strong feeling that drives you to do it. When you don't, you don't. Okay? So how do you control that? How do you go about controlling your feelings so that you're able to achieve what you want in life? And we're talking over here about essentially from finances to getting along with your friends to attracting or manifesting the right person in your life to getting the job that you want. Essentially everything, life has different components that we all strive to get. Life is very dynamic, just as your thoughts. And so, how do you go about controlling and knowing that your thoughts are aligned with your feelings? How do you use your mind to do that, right? There's two ways that you can do that I'm going to talk over here. Obviously, there's this, I don't know, there's this much knowledge about the stuff that that we can talk about achieving your goals, and this is the time that I have to give you in these videos. So I will do my best to give you as much as I can in the time that I'm making these videos. You guys can post questions in the comments, and I will answer those questions as we go. But obviously, there's a lot to talk about. The mind is very complex, but I will try to simplify it as much as I can to give you guys an understanding on how to achieve your goals. The shorts that I do and I post constantly from different different topics and different people and different movies and different stuff that I can find, is that so you can have an idea and get these concepts coming from different angles so you can understand exactly what we're talking about here on this channel. I'm always gonna do my best to teach you guys how to have success in anything you want to get in life. So let's go back to how do we do that. There's two ways that I can show you in this short video how to do that. So one way is how to get away from pain, and another way is how to go towards pleasure. Those are two ways our mind uses to deal with our feelings and the things we move about in life. We go through life staying away from things that don't make us feel good and going towards things that make us feel good. That's the way we are wired in our head. That's the way we go through about in life. So how do you use your mind to get success in what you want based on these two concepts, right? Getting away from pain and going towards pleasure. So the way that you want to use your imagination, this is all about imagination, obviously, and I want you guys to understand this. Your imagination is extremely powerful. Your thoughts are extremely powerful. The words that you use are extremely powerful. That's why Um, Whenever we talk about language, we talk about spells, spelling. What is that? It has power. You use a spell, right? In the sense of, and also when you talk about cursing, right? You were cursing, you curse, you're putting on a curse. These are concepts, and I don't want to go too much into, like, to say, if we guys think about, oh, we're talking about witchcraft or magic or anything like that. It's just that it relates to it in a deeper meaning, in a way that we use vocabulary and we use thoughts. So I want you to understand that the words that you use have power. Okay, so when it comes to your thoughts and your imagination, right now, most of the time, if you're not trained correctly, you're using your imagination on default, meaning you're using your imagination based on past experiences, and you're constantly creating the worst case scenario based on the fears of whatever happened in the past. You're constantly doing that because your imagination is on default. It's an automatic. So what I want you to do is I want you to start paying attention of your imagination and using your thoughts and your imagination correctly. It's going to take a little bit of effort at the beginning, and the more you use it in a positive way, the more you're going to create the pattern, and the more that it's going to become easier and easier to use it in the future. So yes, at the beginning it's going to be a little harder. You're going to feel like you're lying to yourself. You're going to feel like it's not real. But I'm telling you right now, it is real. It's as real as you can make it. You are a powerful being. You are a creator. You create with your mind. And the more that you accept that, and the more you take responsibility, the more you can change your life. So the two different ways is obviously getting away from pain, going towards pleasure. So you'll notice, and this probably happened in the past, right? And I'll give you this example so you know what I mean. And let's say it's really early in the morning, and let's say that you don't want to wake up, right? You're tired. You want to stay asleep. The alarm goes off. You hit the snooze button, and then what happens? You start running an image in your mind of your boss firing you, or you getting into trouble, or what would happen if you're not on time at work. And immediately you jump out of bed, and immediately you jump in the shower, immediately you rush to get to work, because you have that imagery in your mind of what would happen, the consequences of what would happen if you're not on time. You see how powerful that is, right? So that's getting away from pain. You're trying to avoid pain, and because you have an image in your mind of what that would look like, it motivates you, and it has more power than the want to stay asleep, or the laziness that sleepiness causes for you to want to stay in your bed. Now you jump out of bed because you have that image in your mind. Most of us, that's the way that we get motivated. We don't want pain. We want to get away from pain. We look at the worst case scenario and we try to avoid that. So you can use that, right? Also, there's also when you want to go towards pleasure, right? So let's say you have a job, and the alarm goes off, you hit the snooze button. Instead of the worst case scenario, you imagine the best case scenario. That if you're at work on time, then your boss is gonna praise you. Then if you keep doing that, you're gonna get a raise. You're gonna make more money. You're gonna move up in the company. So there's those two different ways of you can use the mind. Now you have to find which one of those two works for you the best. So what I mean is, let's say you want to achieve success in finances, right? So what you want to do is So if you start, first of all, you have to understand what how much money you want to get, where do you want to be at, and have a specific goal of what you want, right? This is an example on finances. Let's say you want to make, let's say for example, I don't know, $100,000 in a year, right? You have that mindset. Now you want to use your imagination, and you want to, let's say you want to get away from pain. What would happen if you don't make that $100,000, right? You won't be able to get all the stuff that you would want to get. You won't be able to buy your house. So now you can imagine living in a crappy house. You can imagine walking because you don't have a car. You can imagine all the negative stuff that would come if you don't make that kind of money, right? You'll see that because you're trying to get away from that you will be motivated to get up and do something about it, right? Now, if that doesn't work, then you want to go the other way, right? Like you want to gauge how that motivates you, right? You want to gauge, you want to see yourself wearing crappy clothes, all the stuff that you wouldn't want if you don't achieve your goal. All the stuff that you don't like. Let's say, for example, you have a life right now, and if you don't achieve your goal, you keep doing this, keep doing, and keep having the life that you have. You don't want that, so you want to get away from that. So you continue, and then you can make it worse. Then if you don't make that kind of money, this could happen. You'll get evicted, and all the worst thing that could happen. And then you gauge how that motivates you. Either it would motivate you, or it would motivate you a little bit, or it won't motivate you at all, right? Now, if that happens, then you want to do it the other way, right? Now you want to see what would happen if you get that, right? If you make that 100K, what would happen? You would buy the house, and so you can see yourself living in the house. What kind of stuff you would buy? What kind of car would you drive? What kind of clothes would you buy? Where would you live? What kind of neighborhood? You begin to imagine. So you have those two scenarios. You have the negative scenario, and you have the positive scenario, right? And you want to see which one motivates you the most, okay? And you can do this with anything. You can do this with anything, not just with finances, but you can do it with relationships. You can do it with jobs. You can do it with specific things. Like, instead of just finances in general, you can do it with specific, like in a house, or you can do it specifically with a car. Just these two scenarios, engage how that motivates you, because this is how we get motivated. Either you want to get away from the stuff you don't want, or you want to move towards the things you do want. Okay? This is the way you can motivate yourself to get to where you want to get to. You have, like some people that are really successful, they have a picture of where they grew up in life. They grew up in a crappy neighborhood. They grew up in the ghetto, and they have that image in their mind, and they don't want to go back there. And they have this fear of going back there, so that motivates them to keep going forward and keep working hard, because they don't want to go back to where they came from. Some people have an image of where they want to get. They want to live in this type of neighborhood, this type of house. They want to have this type of car, and they want to wear this type of clothes. And they have an image in their mind, and you just have to keep that image in your mind of what you want or what you don't want. And then you want to gauge how that motivates you. And if the negative one doesn't motivate you enough, then you want to try the positive one. And if the positive one doesn't motivate you enough, you want to try the negative one. And then you want to use that as fuel. Just like people use You know, like people have, like, let's say somebody doubted you. You know, somebody says something negative and doubted you. Some people use that person that doubted them to fuel them to get to where they want to get to. Okay? Or the opposite. Or they have a person that believed in them and they use that to fuel them to where you want to get to. So you see what I mean over here, okay? You have two different concepts of what you're trying to use as fuel, because that's what you need. Motivation, you need fuel. You need something in your mind that is constantly there, that is fueling your behavior, so that your behavior is going to be towards what you want to achieve in life, or get away from what you want to achieve in life. If you want to get away from something that is negative, then you want to do everything in life to get away from that. And if you're going to do something forward, then you're going to do something to move forward towards that in life. So that is essentially how your mind works. Okay, we move away from things that makes us feel bad, and we move towards things that makes us feel good. So you're using that wiring in your brain to motivate you to get what you want in life. Because essentially, for you to get what you want in life, you need to have the emotional drive to get there. And this is how you can manipulate that emotional drive to get there. Alright guys, well that's it for this video. If you guys want one-on-one coaching, I am a licensed trained hypnotherapist, a body language expert, and I do Zoom coaching. You guys can go into the link or the YouTube, what's it called? You guys can go into the link and look at my phone number, or